2025 Big 12 Women's Cross Country Championship race alongside Lara Overton. I'm Will Haskett, and we were treated to a thrilling men's championship early this morning here from Rimrock Farm. Congratulations to the Cowboy men. Oklahoma State winning its 14th cross-country championship and a three-time champion in Brian Musau. And now the attention turns to the ladies, Lara. And wow, we wondered exactly how much drama we would have in that men's race. We knew it would be tight. This is going to be a can anybody top BYU type of race on the women's side. A 6K layout here at Rimrock. What did you learn from the track early today that you're going to watch as they traverse these 6,000 meters for the ladies?
You've got to treat the first half to set yourself up for success over the second half. You do not want to overrun this course. You can see the number of winding turns that you take, kind of those switchbacks. You also have some big uphills that you're going to have to contend with, especially in the last 1,000 meters of this race. So you want to be tactical early. You want to be smart early on. You addressed BYU, the number one ranked team in the country, the reigning Big 12 champions, and the defending NCAA champions. They're coming off a win at the Missouri Pre-Nationals. They're led by Jane Hedengren and Riley Chamberlain. In that pre-national meet, they scored 25 points to beat number 19 Villanova's 170 points and Missouri's 216 points. So that was a dominant performance by them. You can see the number of teams ranked in the top 25 that are all in this conference. Alongside BYU at number 1, you have Iowa State at number 6, West Virginia at number 7, OK State, Colorado, and Utah are all within the top 20. And one of the things that's really interesting about Iowa State is they have well positioned themselves to be a championship threat, coming off a third place finish at the Nutty-Combe Invitational, in which they actually edged out conference foe West Virginia, finished behind only second ranked NC State and seventh ranked Notre Dame. So they've had some incredible competition so far this year that jumped them up to number 6 in the poll, which is their best ranking in 10 years. And Jane Hedengren, the freshman phenom from BYU, is out to a blistering early pace, and she is going to push this field.
She's coming off an incredible, you take a look at Hedengren and the rest of this BYU Cougar roster, she's coming off a course record shattering 22nd triumph. 18:42 she ran at the pre-national. It was her 6K personal best for the freshman phenom. They call her a once-in-a-generation athlete. It's very rare that we show up to a race, Lara, not only a privilege to be able to watch her run today, but you show up to a race sort of understanding that she's going to win. The only way that she wouldn't would obviously be injury or something that was unforeseen coming in, or if somebody could do something to the pace to disrupt her. But it looks as if she's at least said, you know what, no, I'm going to control this race from the very outset. Were you surprised that she had the lead that early and didn't maybe settle in to sort of see where things were going to be?
Not super surprised with it, because you can see she's settled in. She got out and got away from any sort of traffic or any threat of getting caught up, and now she has settled in and gotten a little bit comfortable. You can see there are a few there in pursuit, but she also used the layout of the course where she has these straightaways to put herself in really good position. And one of the things that's most impressive about Jane is that it's not only her talent, it's often difficult for freshmen early on in their collegiate cross-country experience to navigate racing as well as she has. And for her to have the poise within race to execute, because what she's going to be challenged to do is to have to race in different ways. She's going to be challenged more so at the collegiate level than what she was those last few years of her high school career. But she is so well versed in navigating racing tactics that we don't typically see with 19-year-old athletes in their first year of NCAA competition, especially at the level which she is. And I think she's surrounded, and I know she's surrounded by a great program that Daljeet Taylor has built at BYU. They have, storied success at this level. There are incredible teammates surrounding her that are continuing to support her development. And look at this.
It's a statement. It's an early statement, just about 1,500 meters or so into this race from the freshman phenom. You saw The pack just behind her, you've got Joy Nowcott from West Virginia, the freshman phenoms from Oklahoma State as well. You want to talk about youth in this race. You've got Iska Chelangat and Maureen Ruto from Oklahoma State that are right there. But the men's race, it took, two-thirds of it to offer any sort of separation. And Hedengren is just pulling away with absolutely no regard for the pack right now, not even 2K into this 6K race.
And what she has done is she's progressively built this lead. That's one of the things that's impressive about the way she executes, is that she has the confidence and she has the mindset that she goes up to the lead and then will incrementally continue to build upon it. It's not necessarily a big surge where she feels like she has to burst out in front of someone and get separation. With Jane, she's of the mentality that she's going in to push herself, challenge herself, run her race, regardless of what anyone else in the field is doing. She comes into BYU holding 9 individual high school records. I mean, the accolades. She was the Gatorade National Female Player of the Year last year. She was Track and Field News High School Girls Athlete of the Year in 2025. Nike Cross Country Nationals champion. There you see those splits at the mile point, so just right at 4:58, just under that 5 minute, and then Joy Nowcott, Iska Chelangat, you can see kind of that pack behind her. Keep watching, too, the positioning of her teammates in terms of the team conversation. Riley Chamberlain has been an excellent veteran, and she's been integral in their team success. You have all of those other athletes are doing a great job. Taylor Rodhinsky is doing a phenomenal job there with her teammate alongside her there in 11th and 12th. So what I would expect is BYU, that group, from where they are right now, they're going to progressively move up.
And you see the number 5 runner counting for BYU is in 20th. That's 19 paces clear of the number 5 runner for West Virginia and 29 paces clear, or I should say places clear, of Iowa State's number 5 runner. So the depth of the Cougars, you saw a lot of black and blue bibs coming through. They're not 5 deep for BYU. They're 8 deep, interchangeable parts behind Hedengren in this lineup. And you see where those top 5 were, including her teammate in Riley Chamberlain, the junior who was an All-American last year. She finished 3rd to her teammate at the pre-national meet coming up. If there's any concern, what's the biggest challenge when you are so early in this race and you are so alone like Hedengren is right now in front of this entire pack?
Staying mentally locked in typically, and I would say for most, but Jane Hedengren is not most athletes. So I think that she has run this way in so many situations that she's probably more comfortable in this situation. And here's the thing too, is oftentimes you will see if an athlete is very front running. This is kind of a style that you think about. This is the way Parker Valby from University of Florida, kind of how, she would run and liked to get out to a punishing type of early pace in these situations. Often one of the biggest challenges when you are such a heavy front runner is to not let off the pace, to be able to sustain or continue to quicken your pace at certain points. And the mindset of Jane Hedengren prepares her to stay disciplined in that way. She talked about the fact that she likes to think that the race is won before the gun even goes off. She really likes to think about her preparation to that point, and her mindset, her mentality, she embraces the process of the work, and that's what helps set her up for these type of situations when you are doing it all alone. And
she's all alone. She's 2,600 meters in this race, and she's the only runner on the screen.
And she does not just race to race the field. She races to race against herself, to push herself, to challenge herself, to see what next level. She has said previously in interviews, she's not done a lot of interviews this season, but coming into her career at BYU, she was saying that she's really excited for the opportunity coming out of high school to go into a collegiate program at BYU. And she said that's only going to positively affect me as a person and an athlete, building my resilience and learning to be adaptable within so many different positions. So you love that she takes that approach into having this type of challenge now at the collegiate level in cross country with a fantastic conference. And then, of course, she's coming into championship season where there are going to be big expectations for this program with her at the front of it.
She is nearing the halfway point of this meet, and you see at 3,000 meters, the time just ticking above 9 or so minutes. She'll come across timing right there in your screen. You start to do the math in this one again. She ran 18:42 at the pre-nat meet. No female runner in Big 12 championship history has run a sub-19-minute 6K in this championship's history dating back to the mid-1990s. 19 minutes, 2.6 seconds is the record 6K time that came last year by Kaylee McCabe of West Virginia. This is not an easy course. You see she's getting a view of the rest of the field that she's already done a full loop around as she comes through here. The fastest time on this track in the previous 3 Big 12 championships is 19:48.8. There's only been 2 sub-20s run by women on 6Ks in this one. And we're asking the question right now, Lara, can she go sub-19 on this track?
She can do anything. There's nothing that I'm going to say she cannot do at this point. And as you're looking at the field,
she's 18 seconds clear at the midway point.
Well, and I'm looking at, Riley Chamberlain has moved herself into 4th position. That is significant. Her teammates, Rhoda Hensky, she's gotten now into 11th. You want to see Roberts in 13th, kind of get closer to Taylor Rhoda Hensky. All of, these veteran athletes for BYU and Diljeet Taylor's program.
Yeah, they have 7 runners in the top 25 right now.
And that's the championship experience that they have. Having won a conference and national title last year in cross country, they can draw upon those experiences. I'm so excited to see how Jane will navigate the last part of this course. So as they're approaching, as you think about that map that we saw early on, when they hit the covered bridge, one of the interesting kind of points of this course, and you will have 1,000 meters to go. Here's a look at that chase pack. Riley Chamberlain doing a great job alongside West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Iowa State, within that group to navigate. Riley was certainly part of that national championship squad last year. She also anchored BYU's national championship distance medley relay teams to back-to-back national championships. She's an absolute gamer. She's really strong to close out. Yeah. This is domination.
It's a privilege to be able to watch this. It is absolute beauty and power in motion for somebody who is achieved all of the accolades at such a young age in the sport. You name any cliche quote, once in a generation, all everything. That is exactly what we're witnessing with Jane Hedengren as she continues to try and stretch this pace. Now 2,000 meters from the finish line again. So much history and what she's been able to do in just a young career, and now here she is trying to rewrite record books in just her first season as a collegiate runner.
And what she did really smartly there when she came off the turn, and this is where she's on another level from a mental standpoint, is she didn't hug that right turn too closely. She stayed out a little bit more so to the midpoint because she could anticipate where that was going. She didn't want to make a tight right turn to then have to bounce out left. She was looking, she's thinking a step ahead. She is not just thinking about the immediate strides in front of her. She's thinking about that point in the race where she can be incredibly tactical and even further improve her position and capitalize on. So from a strategic standpoint, I think that's something else that elevates her from a preparation where she's looking and she's being very smart and disciplined with how she's running those tangents that are presented over the course.
Again, she will encounter more elevation in the second half of this race than the first half of this race, but to have a 3K split at the halfway point of 9 minutes and 9 seconds, doubling that would be insane to think about if she could run in the 18-20 sort of range and obliterate the previous best mark in Big 12 meet history. But she has obliterated almost everything in front of her to this point in time. She's already obliterated this field, and now it's just a question of by how much can the freshman Jane Hedengren end up winning this race.
One of the benefits for all of those phenomenal spectators, and I will say cross-country spectators are as dedicated a bunch as any, because you can't just be a passerby. You have to actively, as you can see, these people are running to different points. The way this course is structured allows people to get to different points and see various points of the race, so they're getting a treat. If you're bouncing around to a couple of different positions because of the layout of this, you are getting a spectacular performance to get to witness today. And now here is where I expect Jane Hedengren will use this point of the race to set herself up for the big hill that you're going to endure over the final K. So she's got a nice stretch here where she's able to settle in. You can see she's super efficient. Look at how efficient she is with her stride, with her upper body. You have not seen her pace fall off whatsoever. There she kind of navigates through the turn. This is that heavy wooded area, but she's not faltering whatsoever. You are not seeing her endurance wilt. In fact, it's almost like as this race draws on, not only is her lead growing, but she's continuing to gain strength further and deeper into this competition.
Only thing to get in her way is she makes a bad turn in the woods. We'll find out when she emerges from it, and you go all the way back, and there's the pack. It's almost the second race right now. The race for second is going to be the most compelling part of the race.
There, right? This is going to be significant because of, like we saw on the men's side, how tightly can you bring along your second, third, fourth, and fifth runners?
Yeah, you see BYU had a comfortable lead at the 3,000-meter split, but the other part of that works in their favor, Lara, is that they're non-counting runners. You've got runners in 20th and 23rd that aren't counting towards BYU. Obviously, Hedengren's already passed the 5,000-meter mark, so she is showing at 15:20.3. She's 1,000 meters to go on record obliterating pace right now, and it's going to be a few seconds before we get anybody else across that line to give us an idea of how they're shaking out.
And in that final 1,000 meters, to your point, you have about a 600-meter climb and then a steep 400-meter downhill. So she's going to have to attack but not overrun that hill. And talking with people well-versed in this course, they say that people will go too aggressively at that 1K point and then totally run out of gas in the final quarter mile because of how quickly the finish line comes up to you. So you want to attack the hill but not overrun it. You'll sometimes see athletes get too eager in the early part of the hill, especially if you're in one of those chase packs, because they're going to try to defeat who is next to them. So tactically climbing, but also making sure that you cannot wait for that ascent at the top of the hill to make a move. You got to position yourself to immediately capitalize coming downhill. But Jane Hedengren is going to be full speed coming off of that hill into the finish line uninterrupted.
5th, 6th, and 7th place for that trio from Iowa State, but it's been the depth of BYU in concert with that dominant performance at the front from the freshman Hedengren that has allowed them to maintain this edge throughout. And there you see that edge growing because, again, Iowa State trying to get that 5th score across. It's just the depth of BYU at the top right now. Positions 1, 4, 11, 12, 17, 18, and 20 for their top 7 right now. They have 7 runners in the top 20 right now, including the runner on the course, and that being the freshman. Now the only question is, can she demolish the Big 12 record?
I believe that's head coach Diljit Taylor rooting her on. Pretty sure it might be out there. It's usually easy to identify her, giving those final instructions to Jane Hedengren, who is going to go on to win to what will be one of many championship titles in her collegiate career. Again,
the Big 12 record was set just a year ago as Kaylee McCabe in her final cross-country race in the Big 12 with a 19-minute, 2.6 second showing, and that was on a much faster course than here this year at Rimrock Farm. But as Hedengren makes this right-hand turn, looking for home, she's got under 60 seconds to try and be the first woman to ever go sub-19 in this Big 12 6K race. It is her and her alone. It's been that way from the very beginning as she continues to find another higher gear, pushing towards another career-defining moment. It's Hedengren into the chute. This score and this time is going to be absolutely phenomenal as she's somehow increasing the pace to the line. This is going to be an insane number. It's going to be short of 18:40. 19:29.6. She obliterates the previous 6K record by over 30 seconds.
And look at how even she ran that. When you look at those splits, she was so disciplined. Even she had that early lead, continued to build upon it, never let her foot on the gas, and now she is eagerly awaiting to welcome in the rest of her teammates. That's Riley Chamberlain right there fighting for that runner-up spot.
It's going to end up being Joy Nowcott who gets her at the line, but Chamberlain third place to Hedengren's finish. First Oklahoma State runner across the line there as well. And now the sprint in, but this has been sort of a culmination, a celebration from the very beginning of this race. We knew BYU had the depth. It was all about what could Jane Hedengren do in this race today. It's hard to say that she exceeded expectations. She obliterated expectations. That is an insane time, folks, for her to run. Her career best 6K was at the pre-nats just a couple of weeks ago. She bested that by 13 seconds today to be a Big 12 individual champion, and the rest of her team coming across in what is going to be a convincing win for BYU to capture its third consecutive Big 12 championship.
She demolished the course record at pre-nationals already. She's going to go back to that course to run the national championship and likely only better it.
The fastest female time in Big 12 history at this championship here at Rimrock was Crystal Nelson of Iowa State in 2014. She ran 19:48.8, one of two women ever here at Rimrock in a Big 12 championship to break 20 minutes on this course. And Hedengren just did it in 18:29.6.
There is a great feature that you and I both watched on Jane Hedengren that was produced by Nike, in which her father was reflecting back when she was in the 6th grade. She wanted to break the school record in the mile, and he went out, her dad, an athlete and a runner at BYU himself, went out and he's like, okay, these are the paces that you would have to hit to do that, and she couldn't hit them. And she was frustrated by it, but she showed the resilience. She went back at it and started to attack it and attack it and attack it. So you think about having that type of mindset, being that goal-oriented, that's when you know there's something special within someone. If at that age you have that type of goal-oriented mindset, and then to only continue to build that resilience and that mentality through it.
And to build the family legacy. Again, so many Hedengren's who have run for BYU, her father running, her brother running for the Cougars, her dad's still a professor at the university, and just continuing the lineage. And with every race, the legend grows now in her freshman season.
And one of the aspects from her high school career that she really benefits from is that she had so many racing situations in which, as a high school athlete, she was going up against collegiate or against professional athletes in these various scenarios because of the different, races that she was challenging herself to, and that is only benefiting her and setting herself up to have the type of freshman season that she is having thus far. It's also part of how Dulce Taylor builds that program and how intentional she is with how she structures the training for each of those athletes, respective to where they're coming from, respective to their abilities and their goals, in support of, too, those greater team goals that are there for this program as well.
They will fall as the rankings fall in the latest coaches poll. BYU, Iowa State, West Virginia, Oklahoma State were 1, 2, 3, and 4 in terms of rankings coming in. BYU, the number one team in the country, and certainly everybody paying attention today as they look to be poised to defend their national championship coming up in a few weeks. Iowa State 6th in the country, West Virginia 7th, Oklahoma State 11th in the country. West Virginia will win the tiebreak for 3rd over Oklahoma State, 4 of their 5 counting scores, finishing ahead of their counterpart for the Cowgirls.
Iowa State with a really impressive 1, 2, 3 there, finishing 5th, 6th, and 7th, with Mercy Lynn Kerwa taking 5th, Betty Kipkare in 6th, and then Cabet in 7th. So a really good in terms of, from the point standpoint, opportunity right there, and how those athletes raced together and stayed really closely packed for them.
And how impressed are you?
Back there in 14th.
And I'm sure Diljeet Taylor, the coach for BYU, would appreciate this as well. When you've got an absolute superstar that runs out at a pace that most mortals can't even think about running behind her, and you look at BYU's splits through this race, the depth that they have, they finished 7 runners inside the top 20 in this race. They did not count a 17th place finish and a 19th place finish, and continue to pick off runner after runner. That score got better. At the 1 mile split, BYU was at 51 points. It was 47 at the 3K, 45 at the 5K. They finished with 38 as their point total, counting 1st, 3rd, 10th, 11th, and 13th. To know that you're not going to be able to come anywhere close to your top runner, but to maintain and run your own race and then pass those that maybe got sucked into the wake of the freshman in front of you. That was an incredible close by BYU to showcase their depth going into regionals and the NCAA championships in a few weeks.
One of the reasons that they are a perennial contender in cross country and, you know, on the track as well. It goes to their training and their development, where they pride themselves on being at their best when the race matters the most, the end of the race and the end of the season. It's also a testament to individually coaching each athlete and having a structured plan and a structured race strategy and the direction that's being given, and then collectively supporting that with the goals of the group in mind. And then too, it's the fact that, you know, Diljeet Taylor is the head coach of BYU. She also has post-collegiate professional athletes that she coaches as well. So she has within her realm, of course, that, you know, she has Olympians that she's coaching as well. So having that within her repertoire and within her resume as well, she's well versed in coaching, you know, those athletes at a high elite level, even, you know, beyond collegians. I still don't think that there is anyone in the stratosphere of Jane Hedengren.
Colorado 5th, Utah 6th, Cincinnati 7th, Texas Tech 8th, Kansas State 9th, Houston 10th. All unofficial, as we still have some runners crossing the line here in what I think in years to come will be a memorable race for understanding how it all sort of started. You know, we have the pleasure, Lara, of covering a lot of races through the course of the years and through our careers, and being able to see fantastic finishes, you know, moments where athletes dig deep to find something. And then there are those days where you just kind of sit back and you realize that you're watching something that has never been done before and may not be done again for a while. And to have it done from a freshman today, a true honor to be able to watch Jane Hedengren run today.
I'm now just noticing, this is the first time I've kind of stopped and looked, like, it's relatively windy out there when you look at those flags in the distance.
Sure.
Yeah, the difference within that hour between the start of the men and the start of the women's race is also pretty significant. I would not say that this is an ideal situation for running fast, you know, given, I mean, it's temperature is great, but it's windy. This is a notoriously difficult old school style cross country course with the terrain you have to traverse. There's a great look there at the BYU women alongside Coach Taylor, huddled up there after their victorious morning in Lawrence, Kansas.
She won by 45 seconds, partner. It will be the biggest margin of victory in this race's history, dating back to the mid-1990s. I don't have the time to go through all of it. Actually, will not be the biggest margin. Sally Kipyego's win back in 2008 was by almost a minute, so it will not be the largest margin. Kipyego running a couple of dominant races in 2006 and 2008 to win Big 12 championship. So it won't be the biggest margin, but it will be the fastest time by a wide margin in this 6K history race.
And this conference has gotten so much more competitive since that point, since Sally Kipyego was racing it. No disrespect, of course, to that, but when you're looking at the level of nationally ranked teams and athletes who are going to contend at the national championships in a few weeks, this is only getting more and more difficult. The mantra for the BYU program is BYU Run for Her. It is all about running for the team, and certainly a testament to that with what they did behind the individual champion, Jane Hedengren.